Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace, and I'm outside. I'm quite sad. Last year we lost one of our dogs, and the dog had been in the kennel and it had its kennel shot, what they call them, Bordatello or whatever. Watch me be saying the wrong word, but you know what I mean. And but I guess it was one strain that, one whatever you call it, that's not my field. I don't know which happens because we had that happen to our other dogs before them, and he was real sick with that. And the other dog we had also had, there was a rescue dog, a new rescue dog. She was a puppy, but more like she's a, what is it called? She's a big dog, and she was a puppy. Wasn't really the size of a puppy, you know what I'm saying? She was a big dog, and they the one I call it nicknamed Mayhem, when he was a rescue, was first. He attacked that other one, the one that was sick. When we got him home from the vet, he attacked him. It was bad. It was a really bad attack, and it just it went all downhill from there, and he died. That was last year. Well, the one that attacked him, the one I had nicknamed Mayhem, when he was a puppy. I'm a night owl. I sleep usually during the day, and I was asleep, and I heard Adam's yelling at both dogs, and so much noise that I jumped up and went out there. Could have hurt myself. It just, scared me. And he was trying to get the two dogs separated from one another. I was so asleep. I got some water. Of course, that wasn't going to help. I didn't know that it wasn't going to help, but no, they were fighting like, oh my goodness, the girl dog and the boy dog. Mayhem, and the other one, the newest, she's still a puppy. I doubt, in human years, I don't even know that she would be a teenager. Maybe, I don't know. I would guess sometime in the summer she would be, I don't know. I really don't know. But he attacked her. And he's a big dog too. And immediately he told Adam, I said, we're probably going to have to put him down. Because I told him that when he attacked the other dog, that was his best friend. Okay, and we had a hard time getting them together. Because one, because we didn't know if she had kennel cough. Two, also, draw that, the last step. It was a sad, sad situation. This was a sad, sad situation. I don't talk about putting dogs down. That I was still asleep. Kind of foggy brain. I'm not in the best of health myself. And I remember telling Adam, he looked at me like, what? I was in my heart. And I was half asleep. I don't think I had any pain. I think it was more like I was scared. And my heart started racing. So there's that. I don't think either one of us want to be eaten by that dog that's become so aggressive, or bitten up and all this. He's become so aggressive. The Mayhem one. And he's like 5-6 years old. And he's teaching the girl dog, the young one, because she fought back this time. Usually she runs away. Now she was fighting back. She's been taught aggression. And let me top it off by saying, yesterday there was a little bird on our, we did not know it. He let them out to go, those two dogs, to go to the bathroom, do their business. There was a little bird caught on the patio. It's enclosed. They killed it. By the time he got out there, they killed it. and they don't mind when you say stop. So anyway, once I started waking up, I told Adam, I said maybe they can give him something for his aggression. He's already been fixed. Okay, he was fixed before all this, before last year. Like right after, not long after we got him. We don't know what happens. Why? I mean, he was also, yesterday, or the day before, he was aggressive toward her and she ran off. But that basically sums it up with his aggression toward another dog. He's never aggressive toward humans. But, I read on it, it said it could be, there's also like an underlying health condition, like they're in pain for some reason, or a thyroid or something. So, anyway, I called the vet's office and I said, can we, leave him there? And he said, yeah, but, there's this storm that's coming, the winter storm, ice. And she said, you have to know, you probably won't be able to pick him up until sometime next week. I said, that is fine. It is fine. He was there during the I didn't tell her, but he was there during the last one, the historic Texas winter storm, because he was too hyper, and Adam was in the hospital, almost died. I didn't know that he was in the hospital. He didn't tell me. Nobody told me that it was touch and go, is what I was told finally after I went to get him, I think it was, or whenever. It was late. And it wasn't here, it was in Dallas. And this is a suburb of Dallas, and it wasn't nearby at all. And that was during when I couldn't go to a hospital because, it was in 2021. Yeah, and I was a more vulnerable one who had to stay home all during all that time. And it wasn't when they had the shots to the arms available, So what a freaking mess it was. So the dog I had to put in the kennel back then because how did it all come out? I don't remember exactly. But I was by myself at home. When Adam was in the hospital, I was able to go get him, picked him up outside. Right before it, or the day of it, before that historic Texas winter storm hit. And I got him home, but I couldn't go pick up the dog from the kennel because if he was a puppy and he would run around a lot, and he tripped me. He knocked me down before, busted up my nose, and my collar, around my collar was hurting. What he did was hit my shins, and he come barreling through like zoomies through the house from the back, all the way I was in the front, and knocked me down so bad, and oh boy, so. I mean, there's so much, but I think if there's not, anyway, to jump to this, the vet's, Adam's taking the dog to the vet, but I called Adam and told him that the other dog, the girl dog, she was out. What happened was we finally got her outside the back, and I shut the door, and Adam held Mayhem back while I shut the door between them for the outside. And so she was outside. When he left, he said, make sure you bring her in, like I was going to forget. And I opened the door after they left. They were safely gone. He wouldn't have to come back home for some reason. And she did not want to come in the house. Oh my gosh, she was, I'm not talking like she wants to stay out and play, like she's real good about not doing that. She'll come in, but she wouldn't even get to the patio. Finally got her to come into the patio, try to get her through that door that, comes into the house. Oh, she did not want to come in. She was so timid and scared, and this is a big dog. And she, was hunkered down like she was afraid she'd have to show deference to the other one, and the other one might attack her. Mayhem might attack her. It was so sad. I mean, seriously, it was so sad to watch. And I was by myself trying to get her back in. I was, you know, I mean, the poor dog. You know how she was a rescue dog when she was, just last year. And like I said, when the other one was in the kennel, the one that this dog attacked, Mayhem attacked. She was a rescue dog, and we took her on because, thinking we might just, what is it called, foster her. We never just foster. We wind up keeping, if they don't have an actual owner, as it turns out. But this dog was, what we heard, and this was just a little that we heard, or maybe that was all that they knew, that the dog was at a lake here, and somebody had thrown, her into the lake, and they rescued her from the lake. Now, how did they not see the people, or what happened? I don't know. But she will not let anybody give her a bath or shower. She was that traumatized by being thrown in a lake. And I'm telling you, I'm really good at trying, at least I guess I am. I can tell you that she was probably beaten by the person who owned her. And that's how they trained her, was to beat her. We don't beat our dogs. Okay, and the way I judged on that is how she cringes. We have a gate. We put up a gate to keep them out of the front of the house so they don't try to run outside. We had just furniture there. We bought a gate. It was such a good idea, such a better solution. And she will not. She waits for permission to come through the gate. If I tell her no, she backs off very quickly. And I can tell she's been intimidated by the people who owned her. I just can. The way she is so timid, about certain things. So anyway, I told Adam to take that other dog, to the vet. And the vet's office said, "You sure she won't be aggressive toward the tech that's going to be here?" So she's never been aggressive toward any human. Not he. Mayhem. He has never been aggressive toward any human. And really, they knew about the other one. My heavy sides are real these days. They're always real, but I never had them before. Not like this. Because it's one thing after a freaking another. It's so much lately. So much. I'm sitting here a little, I'm worried I'm going to start being out of breath again. And I need to go to the hospital, and it's going to be ice on the street, and, all this. But, see, I'm one of those who doesn't want to put any dog down, and I'm worried we're going to have to. I mean, from what I read, there's really nothing they can do. You would think they could give it sedatives, because they did before. So, sorry about that. I had a cough coming on. But when he was in there before, I think they gave him sedatives because of his zoomies. He was so aggressive with his zoomies. And he had been at the vet's, and the vet said, "I understand now what you mean." About him. Yeah. Sorry if that got actually in the video. I am not going to check it. It just is what it is. Reality. Oh my gosh. But I usually cut that out. So. Oh my goodness. This is just so much. It's too much. Lately, I had to, the whole thing with my medical and those people, they turn dark. Oh my goodness. These doctors, because somebody is in their own entrance, they're doing an investigation. I am certain of it now. I'm maybe one of many, who knows. because I have a rare health condition, and that would be the smart thing. Even I would say that, for them to use me as a pawn in their game and not even let me know. They shouldn't do that. They should let me know. But no ways. I've figured it out. These doctors can turn so dark in their office, trying to treat me like that. So I did a combination gray rock. I used to call it gray rock maneuver. I did not coin the phrase. I don't know if anybody said they coined it. But I just called it gray rock maneuver. And I just ignored what the woman said. It was the nurse practitioner. She sent it through the portal because I don't allow them to call me, even though the day before had called, not from that office, but from another one, and that was a whole scene there. 3 people. The second one was like on some kind of energy drink, apparently, was so hyper, kept talking over me. And she said, "What, you want to talk to my manager?" You know, that kind of voice thing. I said, "Yep, sure do." And of course, the manager, I'm not new to this planet, or any of us. The manager is the buddy with them and with her. And of course, the manager said, "Well, it says the patient prefers," she used that voice, prefers not to be called. It does not. I called the help desk after that. I knew it doesn't because I've already spoken to the help desk 2 times about it. And I called them again, and they said, "Yep, it says do not call, and they should not be calling you." So but just people, they're aggressive people too, whatever they want. And so I switched back to another doctor that I had before the one I have now. I'm going to get all new doctors. That's the reason I didn't do it, because somebody who would be the one who would know this said don't switch insurance, because what they're going to do is to start all over on every test. All these ones will find that out, and they're going to start all these tests all over again. Okay, so I didn't change the insurance, I changed the doctors. Instead of doing one that's within their system, I'm doing ones that are in network. There's the separation there. It's too much. But I told Adam, cooler heads, and so maybe they can do something about this dog, the vet. Maybe there's something. I cannot imagine having both of them in the house. And we can't keep one in the garage, it would freeze to death. Where our temperature, well, the last time I checked, it was late last night, and which day is it going to be? Sunday, I think. It keeps changing, of course, but I think it's Sunday. Our high is going to be 18. Our low is going to be 10. And they said it will be there's possibility of negative wind chill temperatures in the negatives. So we're going to have trouble taking one out, letting one out to go to the back and to do his business. Oh, my throat's going out again. That and the nosy neighbor, the one that watches me, he watches me from his, I'll see him in my side view mirrors and rear view mirrors, because, I'm one of those who was raised, and I hope everybody is, to pay attention to your environment. I don't give any advice, but I will say I hope everybody was raised to, if you're sitting out in your vehicle, to be really anywhere, anytime you're outside, anytime. Not be paranoid about it, but be aware of what's going on around you. And I've been twice I've had surprises. Yeah. But anyway, I see him and he's doing that thing again. He's so nosy. It's unbelievable. But I'm worn out, man. Let me tell you. I was actually going to do here's Adam. I was actually going to do a video that was the title. I have a little an extra skip in my jump now, because I was feeling so much better that I did the boundaries thing. I didn't get to finish that, but yeah, with that nurse, just ignored her email trying to make herself on top. No, she's not on top. I just ignored it. Diffuse the situation by just not playing their game. Let me see what Adam. Before Adam left, he said, we're not at a point in our life. He's older than I. And he said, we're not at a point in our life when we can deal with all this kind of stuff. Too aggressive dogs, and they're not small dogs. I think they would actually be under large. They're not that huge dogs, those extra big ones. No. Anyway, he said we're not at the point in our lives anymore we can handle these dogs, with this kind of thing, before he left to take Mayhem to the vet. And I told him, I said, we need cats. We're in the stage when we have cats. He always wanted dogs for safety reasons. Well, it's not very safe whenever they attack one another, and they won't attack us. They've never attacked us. So, but still, you never know, Fall down, go boom, can't move. And what's going to happen? Like I said, the other one had knocked me down. And Zoomies, and the one time before that, I kind of wondered what role he played. It was in 2020, early February 2020, before I'm leaving out that word on purpose, all of that was well known here in the United States and all that. It wasn't all that big deal yet, February 2020, yes, and I just tipped over and fell on a hardwood floor on my left knee, messed it up big time. And it wasn't until it became more known of what it was all about, symptoms and everything, that I realized that I had that. I'd had that. That's what may have contributed to me falling down. And, but I think also it was the dog. I think the dog had, I don't know, had urinated, basically. I thought my goodness, what the crap? Really? Now I'm going to start sneezing again. Oh my goodness. What the world? What in the world? But, anyway, where was I? Oh my gosh. I have a cookie in my hands right now. In my left hand, just sitting here rolling around between my fingers, a cookie. And I think that would try it out even worse. But I don't even, by the way, I don't eat much carbohydrates. I keep a little tab on how much carbohydrates I eat every day. I eat usually less than half of what is normal. What's a daily value? Less than half. Might not be a good thing at all. I don't know. So I have a cookie. I have a cookie because I take insulin. I have a cookie in my hands, and I'm not suggesting anybody do that. Nope. I have a rare health condition. Nope. Mine doesn't work the same way as other people. But anyway, this is a lot. And Adam seems like he's pretty upset because when I'd stopped to talk to him, he drove up. I said, what happened? He said, nothing. She said, come pick him up next week. And he walked in the door. And usually he would stop and say something, tell me something. He's upset too. For us, it's not about the money. I've mentioned this before. I'm not bragging. But he and I went through a lot of hard times in our lives together. We met and married when I was 18. I'm 62. And we went through some really tough times. And now we don't. We don't have those kinds of tough times. and financially I was talking about. And so we're not concerned about the money. It's, you know, like I kept telling me, it's like pulling at her heartstrings when she would not come. Mine, he was taking the dog to the vet, you know, so I was home alone, and she just wouldn't come in. I mean, she was so timid, she was so shy. I haven't seen her like that. And then she wanted to on this side with the gate closed. She let me know, because she didn't know where the Mayhem was. She didn't know he had left. He was in the house. She was afraid that he was going to come down and attack her. So what are we going to do, you know? We can't keep him in a vet office for the rest of his life. So what are we going to do? I guess they'll talk about it next week when he gets picked up. So I'm afraid it's the lights out for him. I really am. I don't like that at all. I don't. You know, at all. What are you going to do? Really? He got out one day and he went down the road and he started chasing the guy's cat. It's outside, shouldn't be outside, but that's, you know, that's not important. Is our dog was bad by chasing that cat. So, okay, I called Adam on our alarm. You know, I'm outside sitting in my SUV out front. And, you know, we have one of those inside, too, those kind of things, you know, alarm, you can talk to somebody inside. I know. It sounds weird. But I called him on it, and he's pretty much upset. You know, he sees how timid she is in there. He says he can tell she's not even wanting to do stuff. Like she's such a sweet dog and so happy. But yeah, she's quite upset. We're upset. And he said the dog, Mayhem, tried pulling to go back into the car, go back into his Adam's SUV at the vet's office, didn't want to go in with the woman that came out to get him. Yeah, he kept pulling, wanting to go back. I don't think dogs know, but, there has to be some punishment. I'm not talking about, how else is he going to learn? I'm not saying to kill him, to euthanize him, but, as a punishment, no. But he had to be separated. He can't, he's always been the alpha male since he was, we got him when he was a month and a half, yeah. Anyway, we had actually met the owners, the original owners, and basically it was some kind of rescue from a friend or somebody who they knew, not the rescue that you think you might think, but then they told us it was a young couple. They said that the dog was the puppy was only a month and a half years old. We met him after we had already adopted him. We met them after we adopted the puppy. And they said that he had always, since he was born, acted like an alpha male. And he's aggressive though. We had a dog back then. It died eventually old age, but also it had stomach cancer, as it turned out. But that dog, I said, I would joke around, it was a huge black lab. I said it was a black lab and a bear mix, BEAR mix, because it was so big. And it kind of did look like a small bear. And that little puppy, I nicknamed him Mayhem because the first day, right when he got here, he went up to the bear and started barking like he was alpha male and he was going to let that dog know. Yeah, I called him Marmaduke, I think. Yeah, I nicknamed him Marmaduke. And I said Marmaduke wasn't going to take it, but he was very patient with this dog. with the puppy. It wasn't because he liked the puppy. Oh no, he let it known. He didn't like the puppy. But he was patient up to a point. You know, he wouldn't hurt him, but he would snap toward him. You know, because the puppy just kept going on. And when at this point, he's too aggressive. You know, he's not a puppy. He hasn't been a puppy in years. He's just too aggressive. So I don't know what we're going to do, honestly. You know, we could always, you know, see if any of these rescue places can take him. You know, maybe they know how to deal better with aggressive dogs. Because we can't have this. And they're constantly, both dogs are doing things like, the other one is learning this, and they try to jump on me. They're big dogs. I can't have that. Neither one of us can have that. But me, with all that I've been through the past few years with the stomach problem, you know, and all that, if the dog kicks me, Mayhem has kicked me before in my stomach. Yeah, he pushed me because aggression. He pushed me because he wanted to go outside and he wanted Adam to take him. And Adam had walked up toward me, and Mayhem said he wanted to go outside now, and he kicked me, jumped up and pushed me back with his feet, his legs. It was bad. I had a big bruise, a big ball, basically kind of like an egg shape, where he kicked me. I had to go to the doctor. It was bad. Too aggressive. I've forgotten about that until just now. And but anyway, I'll come back and talk about it whenever we figure out what we're gonna do. So, okay, a little bit of an update. Once Adam had a good look at the female dog, she's really young. The more that time went on, we both noticed she's not all that well. She has a little bit of swelling. Luckily, you know, I called the vet's office and they said there was this real rude, she's a gatekeeper type woman. She didn't even bother to ask the vet. And she said, no, we don't have time. We're going to be leaving, you know, for the weekend. And when we're having that winter storm Fern come through. It's coming through right now. And she was real rude, and I've already had that with that vet. I let him know that once before in all these years, 25 years or so. There was one woman who she had working there who was extremely rude to us, and she lost her business for a while, and she was very apologetic, the vet. She did not know. Well, I think she probably knows, because this one's been there for a while, and she's rude. I wasn't with Adam. He told me which one it was. I don't know her name. He doesn't know her name. But it was the same woman when the other dog died, and she was rude. Well, you know, what is it? What's that expression? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So that's it. That's how I feel. We have to wait to go pick up this dog. And, you know, Adam had said, if it weren't this time right now, you know, he would have taken the female dog to the other vet, because he did get another vet. It's just that the other vet is more expensive. And, okay, to be real, over these years, 25 years, we've spent tens of thousands with our dogs. You know, every time you turn around, you know, there's this test, that test. We've had 2 dogs that, one had foot cancer or leg cancer or something. The other one had stomach cancer. There was different things. That's a lot of money. And the woman was smart. She said, you know, go to one of the weekend ones. I said, yeah, that's 10 to 12,000 for at a pop. And it is right off. No, I didn't say at a pop, but that's what it is. 10 to 12,000 the first day, just for them to put them in a room that has air. Seriously, that they're blowing in air. That's it. Just put them in a little box that has air. And it's supposed to help them somehow, some way. And then after that, $6,000 every day. Do I look like I have fool written across my forehead? And I know some people say, you spend that much on dogs? Okay, it wasn't me spending that much on dogs. And Adam he said, well, maybe the last time maybe we should do it this time. I said, no, those are scammers. It's all a scam. Actually, what I told him is, those are people who have no heart, no soul. They just want the money. And I met the woman, just how many months, 6 months, whatever it was ago, and there was no soul. I'm going to put it that way. There was no soul. She was just a heartless, she was young, and all of her friends were there they were having, that Friends show when they went to the cafe? That they were acting like they were at a cafe. It's a vet's office. And they were real young. It doesn't matter if they're young or old. People who have no soul, it doesn't matter what your age is. But when I said that, because they look like that Friend show. That age group kind of thing. Anyway. Oh, boy, man. But no, I didn't appreciate her not being there. And I told Adam, I said, it's really not the vet. These are gatekeepers kind of thing. But I said, no, first time we already had that problem. And then she hires somebody else who's like this. Nope. So just like at the other place, the doctor's office, that I had to ignore the response from the nurse and say, that's it, schedule it for a doctor I had before. I don't have to make a big production of saying you're fired or anything like that. Just walk away. Set boundaries. And that boundary is, you stepped over my boundary, I walk away and never return. It's that simple. It is that simple. I don't need a big production like they do. They have this big old histrionic, they have to be working in a hostile environment. Hostile work environment. And they think the patient wants to be a part of that. And for them to put the patient as a pawn in their game, who's going to show superiority to the others? I am the nurse. I'm going to show her who's on top kind of attitude. No, you're not. You lost our business. You lost my business. It's that simple. And I know it doesn't mean anything to them. I'm not new to this planet. It really doesn't mean anything to them. To me, this is me. I'm separate from you. And I can walk away. I'm still in control of my life, and you're not. Anyway, that's enough.